is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And welcome in, everybody, to Gone Racin, the fabulous VSiN studio here at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa, and Equestrian Center, and
all kinds of things. If you want it, they got it here at the South Point.
We got it. Welcome in, Mr. Motley. We've had a hell of a start to this season. This has been a lot of fun. Atlanta, I will tell you this. I know Atlanta, of course, is an SMI racetrack. Las Vegas Motor Speedway's owner, same people, Mr. Smith. I am really glad I'm retired when I watch the Atlanta Motor Speedway races now. Woo!
Well, they caught a lot of criticism for the truck race and the Xfinity race. But a Cup race, they ran those last 40 laps.
Oh, Cup race
side by side. It was, and nobody wrecked, but there was a lot of action going on.
No, ton of action.
And Brad Keselowski had his hands full.
And there's some people in here in this building that are very, 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 very upset with the end of that race. But we'll leave the aforementioned.
However, they were very happy that Christopher Bell lost by .001 to Keselowski for second place, or somebody would have lost a lot of their
The pit crew could not handle another heartbreaking loss this year.
All of us, we've had some gut-wrenching losses this year. And speaking of gut-wrenching losses, Wyatt, of course, as everybody knows, we got to give Wyatt a little love here. The home court announcer and the traveling announcer for the UNLV Lady Rebels, and they had made it to the tournament, big West Mountain West champions. Tournament champions and everything, and knocked out first round. Sorry that you guys got knocked out, but hey, great run for the Lady Rebs.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah. I went to the LSU, by the way. Did not know they have a live tiger at LSU.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Mike the Tiger. Mike the 7th.
I've been to a football game at LSU. It's an intimidating place to go to a football game.
It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience.
I hope you had some gumbo and some jambalaya and some gator bites while you were down there.
We had some good food there.
Good. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the food down there in Louisiana.
Congratulations, Lady Rebs. Great run. But let's get back to what we talk about in this VSiN show, of course, which is our racing. And Jeff, like we said, the racetrack itself, they've changed it. The Cup race at the end was for 40 laps. We're side by side. They drove hard. I just mean the mental stress of that, baby. I'm watching it on the couch going, oh, God. I am glad I'm not in that field. It gives me goosebumps sitting here talking about it.
Okay, and to me, that's what makes it a great race then. Look, it's not supposed to be easy for the drivers.
No.
Like I've heard some guys that have tested it at North Wilkesboro this week, and they're like, oh, boy, this is a little different than anything we've raced on. You go up the hill, you go down the hill.
That's an old school. That's old school.
Exactly. They didn't really grade the land. They just sort of paved over the countryside over there. So I think that's a great thing. And at the end of the day, I don't really care if anybody ever complains about stuff, because guess what? All 36 guys are running the same racetrack.
Yeah, and I've always said that.
And it's like golf. These golfers, they grew the rough up. Well, guess what? Don't hit
everybody.
it there.
Everybody else had to play the same rough.
Exactly.
It's just like when Texas, when they used to, yell at Bruton about Texas years ago. It's like Mike Skinner had the best line. Everybody else is racing it.
Exactly. It's not like it's something that's unfair for somebody.
But just as a driver, man, you go to hit hard. You hit Atlanta, it's going to be hard. Oh, anyway, let's talk about who got the win this week. Ford finally off the schneid.
Can I interrupt 1 second?
Of course.
I want to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
I know you never did this. Well, I want just for a minute, I want to talk about the Xfinity race. I know you never parked your car on the start-finish line and just left it sitting there. I've seen it happen in short tracks.
Yes.
And we have to at least mention Josh Williams and what he did. I'm sure you've thought about it, right?
Oh, see, but I always thought of. I always put a little more thought into my comebacks. Like when I beat the snot out of certain people, there was no cameras when I did it. I never was the guy that keyed up the mic and said, I'm going to go kill that guy, get him. Shane and I, we had code words. It was like to get cheeseburgers after the race. If you heard me and Billy Holbrook talking about cheeseburgers, yes, you believe that I'm going for a cheeseburger. That was for us to take somebody out or beat them up after the race or certain things like that. So we had those things. Now, I've heard two theories. Did he give the peace sign to the flag man? I've heard them talk about this on radio. Anybody?
I think he did a peace sign to the crowd. I thought it was to the crowd, not to the flag man.
He did say he was friends with the flag. He knew the flag man.
But he did give peace out, and then he got in there and he made the little heart when he got into the pits, he made the heart symbol and was getting ready to do a TV interview, and he was whisked away by the NASCAR officials. They made him go to the care center because he couldn't drive he didn't drive his car back in, which was a cursory visit. And then he went to the hauler and he sat for 2.5 hours because he kept wrecking.
But did he ever give the number 1 sign?
No.
Okay, so he didn't.
No.
Then here's the deal. He should be suspended.
He got one race, and they actually took care of him by not fining him because he said, if they fine me, I can't afford to pay it anyway, so they didn't fine him.
Well, they should have. Personally, I mean, I got, for saying kiss my booty to somebody years ago, I got $10,000.
Well, now look, we found out during the NCAA tournament, you can say pretty much anything you want to on television now, and you don't get in trouble for it anymore.
You know what I told my dad during that fine? I told my dad to send Bill France Jr. one $10,000 chip from the Orleans casino.
Oh. And did he?
No, he looked and said, I want to pay $10,000, not 20. And so we
he just put it all on black.
I told him that they had to come here to play it because you heard the Rusty Wallace famous story, didn't you?
Well, yes, I know he delivered his fine.
Rusty Wallace got a $10,000 fine
truck,
and he had a Brinks truck pull up to Daytona headquarters in Daytona Beach
with with
$10,000 in pennies, and that was Bill Sr.
Yeah,
or Bill Jr. That was Bill Jr.
Yep.
Bill Jr. walked outside, signed for the $10,000. They took it over to the bank, and then issued another $10,000 fine to Rusty Wallace for being a clown. So, yeah. I don't.
And you've been in a meeting with Wayne Alton, and
I've been in plenty of those.
How do you think that went?
I've been in plenty of those. That was Anyway,
all right, we'll get back to this. But
get back to our regularly scheduled.
We could not bring up what Josh Williams did.
It was amusing. But Joey Logano, Ford's first win of the season, which bad timing for somebody who happened to bet Chevrolet in the top manufacturer pool.
Another double-digit guy, by the way.
Yep. Oh, no, we'll get to that one.
5 straight of those.
Joey Logano wins 12-1 to win the race, plus 350 for a top 3, 300 in Group A, which is a great return in a group. That's why we love the group so much. Even money versus Chastain, 105 versus head-to-head versus Byron, and Ford, of course, was 180. I had the other side of that. I was kind of bummed. You look at the top 5.
Can I defend you for a second?
Sure.
I'm really going to defend you because I think everyone has to understand that we record this show on Thursdays.
Yes.
And I think I would tell anybody who's going to bet, wait until Sunday morning.
Of course.
And I think if you saw qualifying on Saturday and you saw practice on
Fords
on
look
Friday,
really strong.
I think then you probably don't go bet. And you know what? And I don't know if I bet those Ford numbers dropped
drastically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm defending you on that one because I think going into it, we saw the dominance that Chevrolet had all season long, but this track clearly was set up for the Fords this week. It was all dialed in for them.
I will say I did, after looking at qualifying, I saw top 8. I was like, man, I think the Fords might win. So I was able to get plus money at stations. I was like, hey, top 8. This might be the race. So just kind of a little betting advice. Wait till kind of practice.
And
qualifying.
we always say that. Yes,
right.
But Wyatt did exactly that, and I bet you got better than. Probably got worse than 180 actually at that point. Chevrolet would have been higher, but it's still.
We're just providing guidance.
Yes, and we do this way early. That's why a lot of people didn't want. We used to have other professionals on the show to try to give us odds. They all got mad because they weren't doing well because we do this show so early. We're the first show to give you the rundown. So we do early odds, and it sometimes comes back to bite us in the case of picking Team Chevy in the top prop. And if you look at the results, yep, there we go. Lots of Fords.
Although not as many, only a couple at the top, and then of course some of them got turned around.
Some got turned around right at the end. But Joey Logano, of course, there he is right there. Brad Keselowski. Some of us had him for top 3, plus 550. Christopher Bell plus 450. So good returns there. Corey LaJoie, if you had a DraftKings top 5 bet, I bet you had a great return on old Corey LaJoie there. Tyler Reddick finally off the schneid.
That's 2 top 5s at Atlanta for Corey LaJoie in the last 3 races. That's pretty impressive.
Believer in Corey LaJoie right there. Still in the playoffs, too, right now. They're still in the top 16. But there's Ty Gibbs with his first top 10, I think, in Cup. You got Eric Jones with a hell of a run that pissed a lot of us off because we had him in a group that he passed 8 cars in the last 200 feet.
Yeah, passing Austin Cindric on the last straightaway was very disappointing.
Yeah, that hurt a bunch of us.
You and I both.
We had Cindric there. So I mean, lot of great names. Tyler Reddick off that schneid. That was kind of a nice thing to finally see Tyler jump up in there.
But actually ended up with only 3 Fords.
Yeah,
they're in the top 10.
But they were all there.
Harvick was leading, and he spun out. Eric Almirola, he was leading, blew a tire.
Somebody had Harvick for a bet, and that didn't play off in my favor. Cash and tickets, though, we've had all double-digit guys like we talked earlier today. Ricky Stenhouse start the year at 30. Kyle Busch was 10. Byron 12, and Logano 12. So A lot of double-digit winners here. I think we probably might have a chance for another double-digit winner this weekend when we get to the odds. And then, of course, coming up, bunch of more. I'll tell you, the schedule is so much fun right now. Every week we show up the next 5 races, and it's just every week it's fun. This week we go to, of course, COTA down in Austin. SMI, of course, running that baby. Then you go to the Richmond, Virginia, which is every driver except mine's favorite. Then you got the Food City Dirt Race at Bristol. I still love that they do it. So cool how you guys put the dirt on. That's amazing. Then a traditional
Easter weekend there.
Yep, Easter weekend there. I'll be doing a FRP that weekend, filling in for old Pete Pistone. And then, of course, Martinsville, NOCO 400?
NOCO 400.
Okay, NOCO 400. I'm going to have to do some digging on to what the NOCO is. But that's out in Martinsville, the traditional short track. And then, of course, back to our shortest track on the circuit.
To the biggest. They always like to do that, from Martinsville to Talladega. I think those two have gone back-to-back for almost as long as I can remember. But
yeah,
they love
they love
smallest
doing that.
track to the biggest track. Well, not counting the Coliseum.
Yeah, that don't count. Of course, this week, Circuit of the Americas, the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix. It is the 3rd Cup race at COTA. 2nd one with this new car. Really fun 20-turn course. Big elevation change. They did model it off of famous courses around the world. The race, of course, is Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Time. And Ross Chastain.
One of the best finishes, in my opinion, maybe the best finish of 2022. Chastain, Allmendinger. I believe it was Alex Bowman.
Bowman was in there. Bowman was leading. Ross got hit. It was
all
amazing.
All 3
race.
of them with about 3 or 4 turns to go. And that's the other interesting thing about COTA is there's so many turns on this course, and there's so many passing zones for stock cars on this course. I mean,
it's awesome. When we come back, we're going to talk about some new names and some old names and the odds when we return.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And welcome in again, Mr. Motley. We are talking about COTA now, the Circuit of the Americas down in Houston. And we left off.
Or Austin.
Not Houston, Austin.
Whatever.
Sounds the same. Texas, somewhere down there, close.
South Texas,
Yeah. So, see, it's close.
Good music.
I used to go to College Station, close to
that's kind of
Texas
like
World.
all of them, yeah.
But so what we have at Austin is kind of a unique thing this week. We have a bunch of very, very, very famous race car drivers that don't normally do Cup, and our question is, are they worth putting money on? Of course, we have the return of 7-time. Jimmie Johnson comes back for this one, and as you and I both were talking off air, Jimmy's never been a great road racer, so doesn't move the needle a lot for me. But then you got Jenson Button. I mean, here's a Formula One world champion. So you got to look at that and kind of go, And I'm going to make an analogy with him and somebody else here when we get going. But here's the one that really intrigues me. Kimi Räikkönen's in the field. Kimi's got some NASCAR experience. But the one we got on our screen on the VSiN, if you're watching the podcast, Jordan Taylor.
Yeah, I definitely, Jordan Taylor would be the guy that I like. I mean, look,
people don't know his name maybe as well as a Kimi or
but
a
if you
Jenson,
ever watch the 24 Hours of Daytona,
any IMSA race,
or really
any sports
IMSA
car race.
And that's the thing, he has driven this course many times, and he's driven full body cars, unlike a Jenson Button.
And what people don't realize is he has been a test driver for Hendrick for a long time. Oh, by the way, there's a thing called, what's the thing that they're doing for Le Mans? Hendrick's doing the
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Legacy
56 or whatever it's called. Oh, guess who's driving that car? Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor and Jimmie Johnson are two of the drivers.
Guess what that car is?
A Hendrick
It's a
Motorsports
Cup car that is the current style. So he's driving the 9 car for Chase Elliott in a car that he's been testing, in a car that he's been driving. Jordan Taylor, I'm going to talk a lot about here when we get into the odds.
Yeah, I like Jordan Taylor a lot here. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying I'm ready to go pick him for a win, but I think you certainly – I don't know if I'm going to pick him for a win. Well, I mean, that car did win 2 years ago, but honestly, I'm not even counting that first race at COTA with the conditions.
Who's one of the best 3 road racers in our sport the last 2 years?
Chase Elliott.
What team is that?
I understand.
What race
but
car
I
is
also
that?
don't think that Jordan Taylor is going to hop in the first Cup race of his career and go out and beat A.J. Allmendinger, Tyler Reddick, a couple of these guys.
Do you remember go back before 2005? We used to go to road races and road races. Sorry, that was making buzzing down there. That was really bad for TV. You know how we used to have road ringers that would come in, and they used to do well in the 90s.
Ron Fellows,
These guys, they come in the
guys.
90s and would run really well. But then that stopped happening in the mid-2000s, right, all the way to 2000 teens, where all the NASCAR guys caught up.
Well, and plus, we were starting to add more road courses.
Well,
and
we hadn't yet.
Yeah, we're all going to this Bob Bondurant school down in Arizona.
Well, the guy, but what happened was they changed the tracks. The tracks became, you know, you and I have talked for ad nauseum about Sonoma and my feelings about Sonoma and what they've done out there and what they've done to the Glen and things like this. But this is a track that doesn't have any of that. There's penalties for it. You got a guy that's been testing this car, and now road ringers once again are a thing. That's why AJ Allmendinger does so well in it. So I think when we get to the odds right now, it's going to change the way I'm going to look at this field a little bit. We have a couple guys that we're going to talk about that have been great, but it's going to there's numbers here that I'm going to really focus on. And as of course we said, there's 3 guys that have been the best in the last couple seasons. Well, Kyle Larson leads that pack at plus 650. Ross Chastain had a hell of came out of nowhere, honestly, in my opinion, to be a good road racer last year at plus 800. Not really sure where Kyle Busch jumped into the plus 800, but Kyle's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Kyle's good.
Kyle's good everywhere.
Kyle is good. But Tyler Reddick, who last year I think was arguably the other of the best road race drivers.
Kind of almost was taking Chase Elliott's throne there
Yes.
at one point. You know, winning at Road America. He won one of the other road courses. I can't remember.
Tyler
Was it
had a hell
Watkins
of
Glen? Reddick won?
Tyler has 2 wins on the road courses last 10 races. But he's at 900. That's all our single digits. Now you get to the doubles. You got William Byron 12-1, and here's the shocker right here. AJ Allmendinger 12-1 to win this race.
I think I'm shocked that Kyle Larson is plus 650 because, look, he has a win at Sonoma, but Kyle Larson, I don't really think of him as road courses being his forte. Yet AJ Allmendinger, I think he is one of the best road racers that NASCAR's seen in the last 25 years, and 12-1 really knocks my socks off a little bit there.
And Kyle Larson won Watkins Glen twice and won the Charlotte Road Course. You know, but that's
more than I thought he had won. Then,
Yeah, no,
and he has a win at Sonoma. So,
but you know, I'm just going last 10. He's got 3, which is Watkins Glen, Charlotte Road Course. So you know, he's there. But like I said, 650 to 12-1 for AJ Allmendinger. That's tough to me. Then Daniel Suarez and Christopher Bell at 15 with Austin Cindric 15. Let me get through the odds first. Then we'll. I mean, this is cracking me up.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah.
With
Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman 18-1, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe 25, Michael McDowell, Martin Truex Jr. both at 30. And on this page right here, Daniel Suarez, phenomenal road racer. Austin Cindric, a very, very, very accomplished road racer. And you got these guys at these massive numbers. And when we get to the top 3s, that's going to play big.
Well, the guy who was leading this race when the white flag was displayed
Bowman.
last year is 18-1.
Yeah. No,
and I know he's dropped off in the last few years, but there was once a point in time where Martin Truex Jr. on road
he was our
courses
best road racer for a while. He's faded
30
fast,
to 1,
though.
And Michael McDowell has always been an accomplished road racer.
Yep.
And he's
30-1. No, there's some huge numbers there. And the second page, this is where I want to get to. On the second page of these numbers, you have some guys that I think actually could win this race. Not Kevin Harvick. Sorry, Kevin. Wow, that was kind of harsh. Kevin Harvick and Chris Buescher 30-1.
Chris Buescher, another guy who has
surprised
really
us.
surprised people by the way he's driven on the road courses.
6 top 10s, last 10 races for Chris Buescher. Brad Keselowski 30-1. Here's the guy I was talking about. Jordan Taylor 40. Ty Gibbs, who was phenomenal in the Xfinity Series on road courses, 50-1 with Kimi Räikkönen 50, Eric Jones, Jimmie Johnson 50-1. Then you got the Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon's at 80s, and you know Jenson Button way down there at 100-1.
That's more car than driver, I think.
Well, yeah, Jenson, and they don't have Connor Daly listed in here, but that would be an even longer shot. But guys, there's a lot of numbers here that really we could do something with, and I want to jump into the top 3s really fast because, of course, the top 3s are where if we're not really wanting to take, you know, Kimi Räikkönen or Jordan Taylor at that big number. Let's go to the top 3s because you might want to take that. But at the start, Kyle Larson is plus 190, Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch are 230, but then decent returns. Tyler Reddick, 260, William Byron, AJ Allmendinger, 350, Daniel Suarez, Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric at 450, Blaney at 500, Bowman 500, Logano, Hamlin, Briscoe, 7s, Michael McDowell and Martin Truex at 900. Jeff, AJ Allmendinger is 350.
Plus 350. Yeah, I think that one and Tyler Reddick plus 260. Both
just jump off the screen at me.
Yeah, and look, Allmendinger, I will tell you this. If Allmendinger gets in the same position this year that he was in last year.
He won't let that happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain.
He's running for championship this year.
Correct.
He's not going to let that happen.
I thought last year he showed, great restraint saying, okay, look,
yes.
I'm not running for the championship here. I'm not going to screw this deal up. I think he would race that
Alex
last lap
Bowman, the man
differently.
leading at the checker to the white flag, is 500. I mean, amazing stuff here for top threes. Then you go to the second page. You got Kevin Harvick and Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher at plus 900. Let me give you something on Chris Buescher. Last 10 races, Chris Buescher's got 6th, 9th, 10th, 6th, 2nd. Last 5 races on road courses.
And that means he has now embraced road courses.
Yes.
And we always talk about attitude.
Huge
guys'
attitude.
His attitude going into road courses now is incredibly positive, and that's why I think he's become a better road racer.
Then you got Brad Kay at plus 900, I said, but then here's Jordan Taylor. I'm telling you, Jordan Taylor at 12-1. I'm almost thinking about betting him to win instead of just the top 3. But Jordan Taylor, the thing that's going to lack him is he'll get pushed out of the way at the end for a win because he won't be aggressive enough. But Jordan Taylor, unless Rodney Sandstorm shows up, then he might not let him push him out of the way.
Yeah, and what other thing?
Only certain people understand that joke.
There's something we haven't talked about with this race. Austin Cindric made a really good point on this. By the way, it's going to be hot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen the
rain
weather
this year. No
We're
rain.
talking about 84 degrees in Austin, Texas. Hot. Guess what is not going to happen for the first time in 7 years?
Rain.
No stage breaks.
Oh, that's right. You get stage points, but no break
and
for
there's
it.
so much runoff area. We could have a lot of guys go off the course and not get a caution. Austin Cindric made a comment. He goes, somebody's going to fall out of the seat. We haven't had a hot day, and we're not going to get these breaks that we're used to getting.
He's got a point.
Conditioning could come into play.
Could be. Ty Gibbs at 15, Kimi Räikkönen, Eric Jones, and Jimmie Johnson at 15-1, and then Bubba Austin 25. I'll go down to Jenson Button 30-1. Look, I really like the Jordan Taylor 12-1. I really like the Alex Bowman plus 500, the AJ Allmendinger 350. There is some great numbers here in the top threes. I may not focus on the groups this week. I may do what I did a couple weeks ago and do like 3 or 4 guys top 3 and try to see if I can't hit a couple big numbers.
And that's what I was going to say. Either both to win and top 3, you could bet multiple guys and have a pretty good chance, especially to win.
Yeah,
with these big numbers.
Jordan Taylor 12-1. Goodness gracious! I mean they're not giving a lot of respect there. And Jordan's been testing these cars, and there's something you and I talked about off air that I can't mention on air. Why I think that the Hendrick car is going to be so good. All right, guys, when we get back, we'll get you the head-to-heads. We'll start our group matchups and all the great stuff when we return.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Gone Racing. Oh, hey, welcome back in. And we are doing this part today since I'm all over the place, professionally unprofessional. Want to rewatch any part of today's show? Why would you, or any past show for that matter? Check out Gone Racing Podcast. It's free and available now at vsin.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. We give you all the latest news, odds, and everything you need to know to head to the betting counter before each and every NASCAR Cup race. While you're there, catch up on every VSiN show as well, vsin.com/podcast. The other shows are not as professionally unprofessional as those of us here at Gone Racing. Good recovery, I think, personally.
Very good.
You got Isaiah fuming downstairs.
Isaiah's on me? Yeah. Sorry, Isaiah. Apparently, if we were professional here, we'd be wearing the earbuds, and he could have yelled at me from downstairs, been like, dude, have your promo. But and during the break, listen, we were sitting here going through the odds, just all talking about it. There's some amazing stuff here. It's all over the way. I don't remember a time I've had so much fun doing the Gone Racing show as this week with the way the odds are. There is some cool stuff. And the head-to-heads, Motley, the head-to-heads have some decent stuff. We got a don't line on Kyle Larson, right? Okay, Kyle Larson minus 150 to Byron's 130 to Busch, minus 130 to plus 110 for Kyle Busch. Minus 130 to plus 110 for Ross Chastain. Okay, there's a don't line there. Here's some numbers all over the board. But how about these two numbers right here? And you and I, this is Westgate, by the way, which right now, don't just walk.
Run.
Sprint.
Run.
get the fastest cab you can to the Westgate.
Take that underground thing. It gets really
that's
close.
Right. It gets real close to it. Tyler Reddick is plus 105 to William Byron's minus 125. And A.J. Allmendinger is plus 115 to William Byron's minus 135. Now, I'm going back through some stats here, trying to see where they're coming up with William Byron to be the favorite over A.J. Allmendinger and Tyler Reddick. We believe there's a typo, and the Westgate is going to find out quickly because all of us are quickly opening up our phones, finding the app that is the Westgate, and we are betting this and betting heavy. Motley.
Well, I'm with you. You know, I thought maybe I learned my lesson on Ryan Blaney a couple weeks ago on betting don't lines, but a don't line on William Byron here. Reddick and Allmendinger both getting a plus figure.
They're doing this because William Byron, look, 1-2 in a row, one of the hottest guys in the sport. Byron's been great.
Right, but it makes me think these guys that are setting the odds don't realize that COTA is a road course.
I mean, I go to the road racing, just straight road racing. 15th best in the last 10 races, 2 top 10s in 10 races against A.J. Allmendinger, who doesn't race all the time.
He does this year. But he's run most all the road courses.
He had 9 road course starts in the last 10, so he's almost all 10. He's got 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win. And Tyler Reddick, I got to scroll all the way back to the top of the screen to go Tyler Reddick, second best road racer, last 10 road races. 8 top 10s, 4 top 5s, 2 wins in the last 10 races. Hello. There's 2 bets right there that, I mean.
Yeah, I like those. I like Reddick. I like Allmendinger against Byron. I don't get that either.
Yeah, and look, there's a fun one, which Michael McDowell actually is a plus 105 versus Truex Jr., which, what have you done for me lately? McDowell better than Truex on these courses. And then McDowell's even money versus Denny Hamlin. So actually some fun in the head-to-heads this week.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think for the chancers, like you say, I could now maybe this, the old saying, somebody knows something, and sometimes I'm going with the somebodies, but I'm not so sure on this one.
Normally, I consider myself one of those somebodies that knows a lot of these things. And this, in gambling and in NASCAR, I normally am kind of the guy that knows a little something somewhere. Yeah. But man, these two, if this was sitting at our book right now, I'd be stopping the show, walking outside, grabbing Jimmy or Chris, going, "Hey, somebody, take no, take that off.
Yeah,
we're changing that bet right now." So there's 2 huge bets to me that I really am big fans of.
I mean, you lost enough on Fairleigh Dickinson. You don't need to be losing that one, right?
No. I believe, was it DraftKings that said they?
Somebody lost a big. I thought somebody had a big bet down here.
I'm sure they probably did, but the Fairleigh Dickinson. Way to go, Fairleigh Dickinson, by the way. Today's Thursday.
Today is Thursday, yeah. Sweet
16. What time did the game start?
3:30. 3:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern. Here in Vegas,
we got games here.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be there tonight. I'm doing one of
the first times in history.
The first time in history.
Now, you want to hear an even better stat? Guess what is going to be the first NCAA championship ever to be held in Las Vegas?
I know the answer to that. So is it unfair that I know the answer to that?
Yes. Wyatt, do you know what the answer is?
Oh, God.
Where is it going to be held?
That's right.
It's not the NIT, is it?
No,
first NCAA championship. First official NCAA championship.
A person will be declared a national champion.
In Las Vegas, first time ever.
Oh, God. Is it like D2 soccer or something like that?
Nope.
It's just sad. I mean, we're trying to give him every hint in the world, at least where it's going to take place.
It will be at the South Point Bowling Plaza, and the NCAA Women's Bowling Tournament is next year.
Next year in Las Vegas, will be the first national champion
ever
crowned in Las Vegas in the NCAA. Yes.
You want to talk about coming a long way, baby?
Yes.
I mean,
is that why you guys were remodeling the?
No, that was old. We just needed to remodel.
Oh, okay.
It was time. We actually take care of our stuff at our buildings. So, wait, that's a dig on somebody that I shouldn't take a dig on.
Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, well, there's a news story came out this morning that didn't sound very good.
Yeah. I'm still mad at a certain place that has a certain picture in the petty CEO of the company. It's sitting in storage, and he wouldn't sell it to me for somebody's 80th birthday.
I'm referring to another situation. We can talk about that off air. We're not throwing anybody under the bus today.
I want to throw him under the bus, but my daddy would kill me. Anyway, let's get back to...
It's different roadkill we're talking about.
Yes, 2 different roadkills, and both of them aren't good. Both are the same company, amazingly enough. Let's go into the groups now before I get thrown off the air and kicked out of the hotel. We have group matchups, and there are some interesting group matchups as we go. Kyle Larson is plus 245, Ross Chastain 270, Kyle Busch 275, William Byron 305. Okay.
Now he's made it into Group A.
This is Group A. And look, Byron, absolutely. If we're talking that this is Kentucky right now or Kansas Speedway or Las Vegas, Byron should be in Group A. But he is a dog for a reason in Group A. And he is,
It's funny. You said we have a lot of interesting groups. To me, Group A is not one of them.
The only thing interesting is that William Byron's in Group A just because of what he's done.
He's going to go win this race on Sunday. And
he's going to complete. Listen,
he'll have our phone numbers by the end of the day.
I am going to get a text message from him telling me to suck it, Trebek. He just. Anyway, I'm not betting Group A. Larson, Chastain, of course, to me are the two favorites there, but they're there for a reason.
And this re-energized Kyle Busch. I mean, look, I expect Kyle to go out and have a good run.
I do expect Kyle to go out and have a good run. Last 10 races, 4 top 10s, all top 5s. So, I mean, Kyle, not bad, but not the strength of what Kyle Larson and what he called have been able to do lately, Ross Chastain. Group B, a little more interesting, but dang it, they put some of our favorite guys in a tough group. Tyler Reddick, plus 220. AJ Allmendinger, plus 240. Austin Cindric, 310, and Ryan Blaney, 340. Now, Blaney is a better road racer than we've been giving him credit for lately. He did win the first ever Charlotte road course, but that was after
Thanks to Jimmie
calamity.
Johnson.
But he was there to win. He was in
there.
third.
Yeah, only 22 seconds behind the leaders.
But he was still, but he was still,
he was in third,
in position.
Correct. He still had to be in front of 33 other guys, right?
Blaney has had 4 top 10s last 10 road races. So I mean, he's not bad. And at COTA, Blaney's got what's he got? Average finish 11.5. One top 10.
The problem is he's in a group with potentially, I'd say actively on the track, the 2 best road racers in NASCAR. With Chase Elliott not being able to race, the 2 guys that have probably been the most consistent.
AJ and Tyler.
AJ and Tyler.
So, I mean, that's a tough group for him to get put in. But I do like, at 310, though, I do like the return on Cindric. If you're willing to take a risk.
Cindric was so good on these road courses in the Xfinity Series. But, last year in those Cup races.
But Cindric, he had a tough year. Look, he had a great start, and then he had a tough year.
And I think those guys coming from the Xfinity Series to the Cup Series, that transition to that new car was just a huge, huge step for those guys.
It was absolutely a tough road. It was a tough road for him. Let's be honest. It was a tough road. But 310, if you're willing to take a risk, okay. Otherwise, I like the 2 favorites in there, but it's tough to pick them. So I'm not picking Group B. So I clearly cannot choose the glass in front of you. Group C, Daniel Suarez is the leader at 230 with Christopher Bell right there at 230. Then big drops. Alex Bowman, 325. Chris Buescher, 325. Now, this one to me, Alex Bowman with that. Remember, he was phenomenal here in that race last year. We don't normally think of him as a road racer.
He was leading on the white flag.
Leading at the white flag. In the road races in general, only got 2 top 10s in the last 9 races. But he had a second place at COTA the first year, the monsoon, and then had second place last year.
Right, because remember he was leading at the white flag.
Yes.
We had that big bang up with Chastain and Allmendinger ended up over in the pea gravel or whatever.
So I mean, that's a good number for a guy that.
Bowman really didn't show me much as the year went on last year. He got such a great start. He won in Vegas. He ran well at Austin.
8th and 2nd, 2 races at COTA, though. I mean,
yeah, but again, Buescher to me really came on. I love getting a 325 on Buescher, and I love betting Buescher in Group E and Group F. But
the bad news for Buescher here: 13th and 21st in his 2 races, but overall on road coursing last year was pretty darn good.
He'll be better,
but this year,
I like him.
So, 325. I don't know. 325 intrigues me.
Yeah, but it intrigues you more on Bowman. It intrigues me more on Buescher.
Maybe we can go head to head. Just saying.
Maybe we will.
All right, guys, when we come back, we'll finish up our groups, get you some of our props and our bets and how we did last week and all those great things when we return. See you in a minute, guys.
This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
All right, guys, welcome back into Gone Racin. Last segment here, and we got a few groups still to go to. We've been having so much fun. We're dragging on this one.
A little bit behind. We got more groups than normal to go. Yeah.
So Group D, we got Martin Truex Jr. is our favorite at 260, 275 for Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Michael McDougal down there at 275. And look, McDowell at 275. If this was a couple years ago, I'd say, yeah, Truex. But McDowell, better in the last 10 races than Martin Truex Jr. I kind of like that. I mean, Denny Hamlin, okay, decent, and Logano. I mean, looking at stats, Logano. Oh wait, he's he's been decent also, but I do like that. That doesn't scare me with Michael McDowell at 275.
I don't like anything about this group. Don't bet it. Move on to the next one.
I still kind of like
it. I wouldn't touch this group. I guess that's my whole point.
It is tough.
First off, there's no separation.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they're
not
all
a
right together.
Return for the cheese, but Group B, Kevin Harvick is your all three co-favorites. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Jordan Taylor at 255, Kimi Räikkönen 330. That right there to me, I jump off of that and just say Jordan Taylor again, 255. With the aforementioned stuff I said, I think that is a very, very good bet. I mean, Brad Keselowski average finish 16.5 here. I think Jordan Taylor is going to perform very well. And then how about this? The return of the King, and the King returns in Group F.
Yeah, Group B, I do like Jordan Taylor. I'm with you there, so I won't go far. And then Group F, I like Jimmie here.
260 is the favorite. 275, Justin Haley. 275, Noah Gragson. And Austin Dillon, 275. I've been bragging about Austin lately, right? He's gotten better, but there's a reason why he's in Group F in a road course.
Noah ran well on road courses
Noah
in the
did
trucks
run well,
and Xfinity.
But still, I mean,
he's only got, I think, about one data point, probably the Charlotte road course in this Cup car, though. So I'd have to go back and look and see.
Looking at it, one data point. Yep, 23rd in the Cup car last year when he filled in for Alex Bowman at the road course. Right. Finished 23rd, qualified 29th. Jimmie, I mean, even though Jimmie hasn't been here in a long time, he's been driving that Team 56, whatever, that Hendrick Le Mans car that is a Cup car. So he's been testing that extensively. Jimmie's still in great shape. It's not like he's not in great shape. So I do like Jimmie Johnson in Group F, and the fact that we can try to cash a ticket on Jimmie Johnson in Group F, I think, is rather amusing. So I do like that. We do have our props again, winning manufacturer, and this week, as we thought was going to be last week, Chevrolet is your favorite at -130, Ford is +220, and the Toyota is +400. That +400 number, though, you got one bullet in that in that chamber.
Tyler Reddick.
There you go.
At +400.
Pretty strong bullet in the chamber.
Yeah, I would say if you're that might be your place to try to take a flyer here. Now, granted, it's pretty much one guy against the world, I think, because I don't know. Well, the other guy though, the other Toyota driver who, I mean, I never discount him, is Christopher Bell. I mean, he has a road course win. He got his first career win.
Six top tens in the last 10 races. Average finish 12.2.
So I don't think +400 is that far.
Nope, those two guys, and he's got a top 5 here at COTA. Seabelt finished top 5 in the last year, finished 3rd in this race. So, Seabelt and Tyler Reddick at +400, it's worth a shot.
Right.
I'm not against it, but -130 on Chevy. I mean, yeah, they have most of the guys we've talked about all day, but still. Going at quick, the preseason championship stuff, we've not a lot of change on these. The only one we keep watching is, there you go, Chase Elliott. He's finally reached the double digit like we've talked. You keep holding your cards, it's going to get deeper and deeper into those double digits. I'd keep waiting on him.
I think that his is going to hold steady for about 3 or 4 more weeks.
I think he'll get to 12-1 and hold.
I think part of his odds that have been set right now is anticipating him missing 6 to 8 races.
Yeah.
I think if it gets to where he's missing 10 or 12 races and he doesn't
even
come back,
sharper after that.
Exactly. And how quickly is he going to? His best tracks have been these road courses. And that might be the most strenuous for a guy who's coming back from this injury.
And then Brad Keselowski, who I want to just point out, 40-1, started the season 60, moving as well as that team has been running, making a believer out of us a little bit. I mean, that team is definitely going the right direction. 40-1, I see it getting smaller and smaller. So if you're going to,
the one guy that's gone the other way is Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, because they started horribly, but I think they've kind of normalized now, don't you? I mean, I feel like
they have, but I just think there's some value in Tyler Reddick.
And if he wins, that's going to go down to 8-1.
Correct.
So let's talk about last week real quick because each of us had some winners last week. Pit Crew was the big winner of the week. They got Blaney over Byron, and they got Keselowski in Group B.
Barely by 0.001 of a second.
Did it cash the ticket, Wyatt?
Yes,
I cashed the ticket. And you know what else? I get another Brad Keselowski.
I did get Jeff. You got Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch, in Group C, and I got Keselowski in Group B also. So I was 0 for the week, 305 for the off the schneid finally for the Pit Crew, and I'm staying in my positives, just barely sitting there. So decent numbers this year. And since we always go weekly, winner to loser to winner, Jeff Motley, you get to kick us off again as the loser.
No. We go by season standings.
I wanted to go. I try to make it up as I go because it's more fun to pick on Jeff.
Pit crew is going to go first.
You just want to have Motley go last.
I just wanted to try to throw a dig on Motley that he lost.
And at
last
least
week.
this time the pit crew is on camera. We don't have Ann who's in witness protection.
Witness protection.
And
I'm trying to get them to speak. Hopefully next week Isaiah will
we
speak.
tried to. Didn't work.
So here I feel like we're gonna have the kiss of death here. With our pit crew pick. First one, we're gonna go AJ over William Byron at plus 115. We're gonna go Christopher Bell top three plus 450. Like you guys said, he's been a really good road course racer. Ross Chastain to win Group A at plus 270. Cindric to win Group B at plus 310, and Daniel Suarez to win Group C at plus 230. That pick is brought to you by Carina.
They apparently did not listen to Mr. Jeff Motley at all.
They obviously they'll see as I make my picks. But we do agree on one, which means if you agree on it, then it's going to be the kiss of death, and we'll guarantee William Byron beats A.J. Allmendinger. My first two picks are on A.J. Allmendinger. I've got A.J. for a top 3 at plus 350. I'm also going to take A.J. in his head-to-head with William Byron. But I said I wasn't going to do don't lines, but guess what? I am doing don't line. I'm also taking Tyler Reddick at the plus 105 over William Byron. And then my other two are in the groups. I'm going to go head-to-head with the pit crew in Group C. In Chris Buescher, I trust. I'm going Chris Buescher at plus 325. And then I'm going into Group E, and I'm going to go with Jordan Taylor. I like the car he's in, and I like the driver he is.
And it's funny, you did the head-to-head matchups. I just don't get that. I'm flabbergasted that he's that. Okay, so, that's right. I got to go last again. Did I get to go last?
You're in first. You get to go last, yes.
I got to brag about it. Last year I started in first, and then I spent the rest of the season in last. So I got to at least take advantage while I can.
That's what Isaiah was just saying in my ear.
Oh, was he talking smack about me?
Yeah.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Brendan is our Ryan Blaney. He's the opener.
Man, that's harsh on that one.
Sorry.
All right.
Well, you have to disprove me as the year goes on.
I got to be a closer.
I put that carrot out there in front of you.
I'm going to be a closer this year. And this year, I am not going to take the wild swings, but I am going to do what I said this week. I'm taking 3 top 3s because I just think if all 3 of these guys win, or if one of them wins, I'm already positive. I'm taking the Dinger at 350. I'm going to take Alex Bowman at 500. I don't think it was a fluke what he did last year. And I'm going to take Jordan Taylor at 12-1. I really think he can get that top 3 with Jordan Taylor. He is worth it for me to bet that. Then I'm like you, Motley. I think we absolutely now have done the Gone Racin VSiN Jinx. A.J. Allmendinger head-to-head versus William Byron, plus 115. Sorry, A.J. We love you here on Gone Racin. And then my last pick is going into the groups. I'm going with my old buddy.
7-time?
I'm going with 7-time. Austin's going to kill me for betting against him, but I'm going Jimmie Johnson, plus 260. Against that crew. I got my Vegas guy, Noah, who's going to call me and yell at me, and I got Austin Dillon, who's going to call me and yell at me. But Jimmy, I'm going with the strength, baby. Going with the strength.
I love him there, too. His just lack of seat time over the last few years in a Cup car.
But he's been testing this car incessantly for Le Mans.
Okay, testing's one thing. Getting out there and having to bang fenders and taking off into turn 1.
You think Jimmy's not banged fenders, and you don't forget it. Put me in the road course right now. Don't you worry. I won't forget how to bang fenders.
I think turn 1 on that first lap, Jimmy's going to be like, what have I gotten myself into?
Well, that is our show for today, guys, and we appreciate it. Motley, you will not be here next week.
No, I'm not here next week, and you're going to be racing in Mexico.
I am going to be
You're going to be here in the little Brady Bunch box.
I'll be in the Brady Bunch box. I believe we have Wyatt going to be co-hosting hosting next week as I come in remote from San Felipe. So I'll be doing the San Felipe 250. I'm back in my own race car doing. I still get a few races here and there.
Wyatt will have to go to makeup for 30 minutes, because he's just not normally on camera over there. And
don't worry, we're gonna have Isaiah talk.
We're gonna make Isaiah come up. You're gonna put him in the Brady Bunch box.
Isaiah will be behind the glass next week.
We like it.
I will miss you guys next week, but I will be tuning into COTA
and next week. And of course, if you're a basketball fan, greatest time in the history of mankind, NCAA tournament.
Even right here in Vegas.
That's right. Sweet 16, Final 8, championships. Root for your team, root for the underdog, root for who you want. Love you guys. Have fun. And we will see you next week when we break down COTA.